Hey there guys, this is Boggs, and might have been a while since the last video, but I think it's high time we get back in the saddle, and we're going to jump right in with some very, very jarring news that's happened over the past few days, and I guess the week, considering the fact that gla1ve entered his 3-week medical note just over a week ago, on the 19th of this month, and Yugi stepped on in to take his place. By the way, all links to these articles and tweets will be in the description below. Shout out to HLTV for always being on top of these sort of major news articles. But let's get right into this. Astralis moved Yugi into starting lineup as gla1ve takes medical leave. This happened back on the 19th of this month. It was rumored that Astralis wanted to start their 7-8 man roster, and well, they did it. They got as a tag and Yugi as a tag, of course, not starting until July 1st when his contract with Heroic runs out, which we'll get into a little bit more later. But Yugi came on, and Yugi here is now taking the place of gla1ve, one of the most prominent in-game leaders, arguably the best of all time, bringing Astralis to heights that everyone thought impossible in the modern game of Counter-Strike. But now Astralis, they really did a lot of good stuff with gla1ve in the helm, and well, he's had some burnout, and rightfully so. The dude's put so much time into this game, I can see why he needs some rest. He put in a 3-month medical note. If you read through the article here, basically it says gla1ve is going to basically sit out for 3 years. Currently, Magisk has been calling for Astralis, but that might just change, folks, because just yesterday, Xyp9x is taking leave. It's been more confirmed after this article came out, but Xyp9x is now going to be taking a break, and nobody knows how long it's going to be. Also link DK's video down in the description below. He was one of the big guys on this whole thing, so shout out to DK. I'm not sure he necessarily needs a shout out from me, but definitely go check out his video too. It was very informative. He does not really know what the cause is for Xyp9x taking a break. There are rumors, multiple rumors I won't go into myself. But the fact remains, Xyp9x is taking a break. For how long, nobody knows. Astralis have looked into acquiring Lekro. They've also looked into expediting the transfer process for Ezatag, which has not worked out, as we will later find out, and I'm sure some of you already know. So, Zonic has been practicing, or had been practicing with the team in lieu of the situation. But now, if we look down, even Alex was one of those looked at. Former Vitality IGL, who himself had some serious burnout issues, and is one who has had to step down. So right now we see gla1ve and Xyp9x, two big names for Astralis, on the bench, leaving just Magisk, Dupree, and Device as the core. I mean, that's a pretty solid core to have, but without the brains of your operation, you have to wonder what sort of downturn Astralis is going to take with that. But here we come to the interesting part. Who is going to take the spot of Xyp9x? It's a little-known guy named Snappy. I wouldn't say little-known, but also a Heroic player, but he's been in the news a little bit lately, as Tiger had been rumored to be taking him from Heroic. Smooya and Snappy were rumored to be going to Tiger from, well, Smooya, Orglis, and Heroic respectively. And as it stands now, at the very least, Snappy's not going to Tiger anymore. But things might get a little more murky here in just a second. This is the CEO of Heroic on Twitter. Super happy about Snappy CSGO continuing his career so rapidly wherever it is. Big thing by Tiger, the sports organization, I believe they're Mongolian, to loan him out 3 days after buying him. Kudos. Wish you the best of luck, Marco, meaning Snappy. But then, we look here. Tiger make U-turn on lineup plans. Tiger have backtracked on their plans to add Marco, Snappy, I'm not going to butcher his last name, and Owen Smooya Butterfield to their roster following the team's recent successes, HLTV.org has learned. So, Tiger was rumored to be getting rid of NCL and Nin9, but now that they're leading their group in Road to Rio, they've decided maybe things won't happen after all. Double change seemed all but done, with Snappy having even been bought out of his contract with Heroic, according to a tweet from the Danish organization's CEO. However, HLTV has learned that Tiger's run of success in the recent weeks has seen the team gain renewed faith from the management, who will keep the lineup unchanged for the time being. Tiger are currently leading the Asian Road to Rio rankings after beating Tai Lu to the region's ESL Road 1 Road to Rio title. Urkist followed up on that success by winning the Weibo Cup Championship, where they defeated Vichy, BTRG, and Invictus, Urkist being one of the more prominent Mongolian players. Snappy and Smooya already under contracts. It is likely that Tiger will entertain offers from the European pair. So it looks like, well, Tiger decided, let's keep our lineup, let's make some money on these guys. I mean, Astralis is in dire need, apparently, of players, which, given the fact they have a 7-man lineup, I guess technically a 6-man lineup, they still need players. So now they're an 8-man lineup. Get back to that in a second, but so Snappy and Smooya being sold by Tiger now after just recently buying him. I mean, Smooya, he could just be released because he was uncontracted at the time of signing with Tiger in the first place. But Snappy's joined Astralis on a short-term deal. Who knows how long that will be? Nobody knows how long Xyp is going to be out. Nobody knows that. I'd assume that Snappy will not be taking the place of Yugi should Xyp come back early. I think that Snappy would be the one to make that exit door. But still, as it stands, it's a very peculiar situation with Astralis, where also what happens when Ezatag gets freed up. He's going to get freed up in just about a month. July 1st is when his contract with Heroic expires, and his contract with Astralis is set to take place. So, does Snappy just get the boot then? Does he stay in the team? Do they bring in Ezatag? Also, I believe Snappy will be IGLing for Astralis as far as what I've been aware of, but I'm not entirely too sure. But if we jump over to the Twit Longer by Xyp9x for a second, I've sadly been feeling burnout stress symptoms chasing me over many months. It is time to take the necessary break to rest and find the motivation to get back to competing for Astralis. Everyone around me has done a great number of things in order to avoid it, and there is nothing I would rather do than keep on playing without a break. But the time has come to take care of my health, and therefore I have given a sick note to Astralis. Huge thanks to teammates, blah blah blah, continued support. So why is Xyp9x taking a break? Well, from a player's point of view, I would not want my team to have a 7-8-man roster, just personally. I feel that in a game like Counter-Strike, consistency is key, something that brought Astralis to the top and held them at the top for so long. In fact, they're currently there right now, although I think the whole rankings are completely botched because of the fact that it's all online, and online really doesn't matter or have much weight at all. Sadly, online's going to have to be the way that we decide the major, but there's nothing we can do about that right now. Either way, though, I still feel that Xyp9x's departure from the team is a little weird. And gla1ve has been known about in the scene for quite some time among the insiders, and it makes sense. The dude's been pouring his heart literally into this game time and in and out, and well, eventually everyone needs a break. And for somebody who's innovated so much into this game, I'd say gla1ve definitely deserves it. Xyp could be said the same, but it comes on the eve of a very interesting time where this team wants to incorporate so many players into a roster, and theoretically having a revolving door of players. What that would mean is that there's never really a consistently set lineup for the team. Would the players who are subbing in have to be able to fill all the roles of all the players? Would the players that are filling in have specific players they sub out for, which would then put pressure on the players that are more legendary of this Astralis lineup, the legends of this lineup, to have to perform well on a consistent level? So, either way, it's not going to be good for the old legends of this team, the old guard, if you might call it that, but I think they've earned their place, and they surely deserve the respect that they shouldn't be dropped at the whim of a hat. I mean, these are guys that have won majors, back-to-back-to-back majors. They've won pretty much everything there is to win in this game. They've held a number one spot for so long. And now, the organization walks in and says, yeah, we want 7 guys on your roster, maybe 8, 9, potentially even full 10. Why not? I mean, the players, that can't sound good to them. You have random people being, not random, but you have people being shoved randomly into your lineup. Whether you're being subbed out for somebody else, that puts a lot of stress on you. And it's like, hey, why is he playing instead of me? I have tenure on this team. I have more knowledge and experience with this team. Why not just fully replace me if you're going to do that? And if you're going to have these players sub in for whoever, then at that point, do those players have a disadvantage too, because they're having to sub in for whoever they're filling in for, and they have to fill in for 5 different players, learn 5 different spots, 5 different roles? I don't think anybody should be asked to be able to do that. And then we get into the bigger problems of mid-map switching and all of that sort of mumbo-jumbo, which would all depend on the tournament organizers rather, and Valve itself. But overall, this whole situation is turning into quite the kerfuffle. You're getting players that, well, they definitely might be getting burnt out, and surely I can understand that. But also, is there an underlying meaning for all of this? Are these players not liking the road that Astralis is taking? Are these players feeling a little bit disheartened, a little disgruntled, and also a little unmotivated because they know that they can be replaced on a whim? It's not like they get dropped from the team. Now it's just, oh yeah, you're benched. This guy's taking your spot this game. Hit the showers. I mean, in professional, traditional sports, that sort of thing happens all the time. A, physical fatigue. B, illness. C, poor form. But also, in games like baseball, you don't really get a lot of subs all that often unless your team is looking for a star player to hold that role down. In hockey, you got 4 lines of forwards, 3 lines of defense. Those guys are getting changed in and out and in and out. Soccer is much the same. It's either role-based, as in this guy's a more physical player, so we have him play on this side, against this side, or he's tired, so we need to rest him for this more important game that comes on later on, or, yeah, he's not having a good game, let's sub him off and get somebody else on, maybe stir the pot a little bit, something fresh. But even then, there's still 3 subs, but there's still subs mid-game, but they're all practicing together, and they can practice together as a cohesive unit, so it breeds more consistency. It's not a 5-man game. These are games where it's so much easier to just fold people into the role. And even then, there are specific role players for the most part. We still don't know how Astralis is going to work this. Are they going to have subs for every single role? Are they going to have a full B team on their bench? Think about the payroll implications there. You have 2 different rosters, only one can compete at a time. So, overall, this leaves a lot more questions than it answers. Of course, gla1ve and Xyp9x, I wish you all the best, guys. Take all the time you need to recover, because you've earned it. You've definitely earned it. But there's more questions this whole situation raises. The questions of the implications of these multi-man rosters on the scene, not just from a tournament perspective, from the organizers having to figure out how they're going to do things, but also, and I would say more importantly, how does it affect the players under those teams? How does it affect the players that have earned their spots as legends of this game, still performing at the highest levels, to just be, yeah, you're not playing today. Why? You're not looking too good in practice. So, overall, I think that might be a huge mental blow to some of these players, and I think that the ramifications of this are going to have to be weighed, pros and cons, by every single organization that looks to be following this or doesn't look to be following this, and especially Astralis themselves. Overall, Yugi taking the place of gla1ve, Snappy now not going to Tiger, and Tiger staying full Mongolian. Well, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Have yourselves a great day. Stay safe. And, well, I'll see you next time. Peace out.